Alright, so today we're doing something a little different. We're gonna take a look at how to factor quadratics such as these expanded quadratics with a leading coefficient of 1, as you can see, by just x squared, no other number in front. So doing this is really simple actually. We just need to find two numbers that multiply out to our constant term and that add up to our middle term. So once we find these two numbers, let's call them a and b, we can just factor this quadratic really easy. We can just factor it like this. We can rewrite it as x plus a times x plus b. And so that's it. So let's try to see if we can do it for this quadratic. So let's see here. Find two numbers and multiply it to 5 and add up to 6. So first I'm going to start off with all the numbers that multiply out to 5. I got 1 and 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Let's see, I got -1 and -5. They multiply out to 5. And that's really it. I mean, I could write 5 and 1, but that's just basically these two, like flipped over, reversed, whatever you want to call it. So doing that's redundant. They'll add up to the same number. Like 5 and 1, they'll add up to the same number as 1 and 5. So we don't need to write that. The same goes for -5 and -1. So let's see here. So we got all our possible sets of numbers, or sets of a and b that multiply out to 5. Let's see if any of them add up to 6. Let's see here. 1 and 5. 1 plus 5 is equal to 6. So that works. -1 plus -5, just add those together. That adds up to -6. So that doesn't work. So I guess our possible a and b is just, 1 and 5. So now you know the drill. We can factor into x plus a times x plus b. Our a is 1, our b is 5. So we can just factor this like this. So x plus 1 and x plus 5. And that's it. It's really simple, just like that. Factoring quadratics like this is actually very important because sometimes we want to solve equations, and if we can factor them, if you can factor the quadratics, then we can solve those equations really easily because we can just set each of those factors equal to 0. If we can't factor the quadratic, then it kind of sucks because then we have to use other things like completing the square in quadratic formula. But stay tuned because in some future videos I'll talk about actually solving these kinds of equations by completing the square and by using the quadratic formula. And when we do that, we always check to make sure the quadratic can be factored first. But that's a topic for a later video. So stay tuned.